there's so much time spent on, what kind of food are you eating? What kind of exercising are you doing? That takes up the lion's share of the discussion. And there are, some things out there with regards to emotional eating and stuff like that. But compared to the food choice and exercise part of the weight loss industry, I feel like it's a very small part. And I would be willing to bet, without any kind of official survey, that for a lot of women, if not the majority of women who are overweight or significantly overweight, that it is connected to something emotional. And so I think we need to just spend more time thinking about that as we're on our weight loss journeys, because yes, you can do the tactical things to address your nutrition. You can do the tactical things to address your physical activity. But if you don't do anything tactical to deal with the root cause of what led to or contributed to anyway, the bad food choices, the comfort, looking for comfort in food, the lack of physical activity. If you don't do any tactical work to address that, I question how stable your lifestyle change will be. Because if you really think about it, if you are a person who, if you can think back over your life, probably even your childhood maybe, and you can see where you started picking up weight, you kind of know what it's about, it's connected to some emotional stuff, then the weight is really a symptom. It's not the problem. So, the same thing we say about when in the medical profession, when symptoms are treated, but the real condition isn't treated, we already know what the outcome is. It's a Band-Aid, right? So, in the words of Iyanla, we have to do our work. And whatever that work is for your situation, you have to figure out what that is. It may be as little as, just being in tune with that piece of it, so that you're not dismissive of that piece of it, that you're not watering or nurturing that piece of it at all. So to be conscious and aware, and just start being in the moment with that awareness to make sure that is impacting your decision power. It could be as significant as, talking with someone, talking with a therapist, or some people may prefer to talk with their pastors. If that's your thing, do that. But you may want to talk to a real counselor, about whatever is the root cause, because it is so easy to focus on the food and the workouts. And even though we know that isn't easy, the work isn't easy, but it's so easy to become consumed by that. I've been a part of many conversations where we've talked about being consumed by, what can I eat? What food choice? I'm tired of having to think about it this hard. And while we're consumed by it, which will probably lead to an end we don't like, right? We're not even dealing with the real shit, right? So I just wanted to talk about that on the drive today, to just say we cannot be dismissive of the emotional part of a weight loss journey, because for a lot of us, it is probably the most significant piece of our challenge. And if it goes unattended, then I don't know how we get the results long term that we want. And so when we start going through that up and down with I lost X amount of weight, now I gained it back a lot, and we make it seem like it's all about my habits of food and exercise, or my schedule or whatever, and we don't talk about there's a reason why my default settings goes to like comfort food, or I get into this rut that is familiar, there's a reason why that is a default setting. That reason as to why that has become a default setting is what we need to deal with. If we want to really mitigate the risk of continuing this whole seesaw thing. And it is hard work. I'm speaking for myself because, I know dealing with a lot of stuff, processing a lot of stuff, being successful at managing that. Life happens and you have another layer of stuff sometimes you have to manage. So you have to work on it, especially if you're like me and I'm an emotional eater. I tell people all the time, I will always be an emotional eater. Just like an alcoholic will say, I will always be an alcoholic. I will always be an emotional eater. So me knowing that, I have to do extra due diligence to try to put in safeguards from going to that default. And I do believe the default can be reset. But that's work. That's work that I know I'm still in the process of doing. So just wanted to talk about that to make sure that we are, giving attention to the emotional side of this weight loss journey and not just focusing on the symptom of the actual weight. Just to make sure that we are thinking about that in order to have the level of success and the real success that we want, and to make sure that we are not beating ourselves up because we think the tactics, the food, the exercise, the willpower, somehow we've just failed those things, when really maybe the failure of those things is because we're not really addressing the thing that needs to be addressed.